Hello and welcome to Wheel Strategy Tools. This is a companion video to the article and explanation of parameters and policies, which can be found at the link in the description. Both simulation scenarios and the trade page have a section labeled Parameters and Policies. The settings and parameters and policies consist of 4 groups. The first is used to specify the basket of stocks to be used. The second specifies the fee structure used by your brokerage. The third, the method that you want to use to keep the resources you devote to the wheel diversified. And finally, some investing directives. One of the parameters that you'll set in parameters and policies is the basket you're going to use. So first, let's set up a new basket. The basket we're creating will consist of 4 widely traded ETFs. To create a new basket, click on the Baskets drop-down and select New Basket. Give the basket a name. Here we'll call it Broad ETFs. It will consist of SPY, which is an S&P 500 index ETF, IWM, which is a Russell 2000 index ETF for exposure to small cap stocks, VXUS for international stock exposure, and QQQ for growth stock exposure. Now, open up the simulation and open the video scenario we created in the video on setting up an account. The link to that video and the article is given in the description. Open the Policies and Parameters section. For the basket, select the Broad ETFs basket we created. If you were going to run a simulation, you'd also select a time range to cover the simulation. If you look in the trade page parameters and policies, you'll see that it's nearly the same. The start and end dates are missing because the trade page always deals in real-time trades. The second section of parameters and policies captures the fee structure of your brokerage. For options, the choices are a flat fee per trade, a fixed fee per contract bought or sold, and a percentage of the cost of the option. In today's world, perhaps the most common fee structure is fixed fee per contract. For example, if your broker was TD Ameritrade, which charges a 65-cent per contract fee, you would select the fixed fee per contract option, edit the value, and put in 65 cents. Hit return or select the green accept icon at the right. You can select multiple fees, so if your broker charged a flat fee plus a fee per contract, you would activate 2 of the options, a flat fee per option trade and the fixed fee per contract. For stocks, the choices are fixed fee per stock trade and percentage of cost. Typically, when you use the wheel strategy, stocks are bought and sold when options are assigned, and there is no fee for the transaction. The third section is investing directives. The first filters out trades that would make you money but are such a small amount compared to the fee that you don't want to bother with it. The default value is 10%, which means that you'll only be presented with a suggestion in the trade page or have the option sale be accepted in a simulation scenario if the premium is 10 times as large as the fee. If you don't select this option, there will be no filtering. The setting is a percentage value, so entering a 1 would filter out choices where the option sale was less than 100 times the fee. The second is whether or not to include buy to cover suggestions in the trade page or include them in the actions considered in simulations. Buying to cover is done in Wheel Strategy Tools if and when an option has declined in value to the point where it would be more profitable to buy the option back and sell another option than just letting the original option expire. The reason it's a choice is that paying attention to buy to cover suggestions requires the user to look at Wheel Strategy Tools on a more or less daily basis, while not including it means that the user only needs to pay attention, for the most part, the trading day after the option expires. Whatever the choice you make for this in simulation should reflect what you're willing to do in real trades if you want simulation results to approximate what would have happened in the past for your individual choices. Finally, the last section tells Wheel Strategy Tools what strategy you'd like to follow to maintain diversification in your portfolio. Wheel Strategy Tools can be thought of as a big optimization engine that maximizes your annualized return while obeying some constraints, such as only allowing covered put and call options, obeying the constraints on the cash available in each account, only allowing call option sales that won't result in a capital loss, and so on. One of these constraints is that positions don't get overinvested in just 1 or 2 stocks or ETFs. Without a diversification constraint, Wheel Strategy Tools would simply seek out the highest yielding put and call options at any given time and direct all of the resources of a portfolio to them. For most investors, it's prudent to not put all your eggs in one basket, and the diversification constraints let you do that. Diversification constraints are mutually exclusive. That is, you must select at most one of them. The first choice is to put a maximum dollar figure you'd like to have tied up by any one stock or ETF. Well, this is the simplest From a conceptual basis, you run the risk of some of your money sitting idle should you specify a number which is too small, or your assets becoming overly concentrated if you specify a number that is too large. Thus, to wisely use this option, you should be sure to take some care and reevaluate your portfolio regularly. The next option is to set a maximum percentage of your portfolio that you'd invest in any one stock or ETF. Since you're specifying a percentage number, it will automatically scale as your overall portfolio value changes. The third option is to maintain an approximately equal value for each stock or ETF. This is similar in some ways to the percentage value diversification constraint, but it does the math for you. Finally, you can choose to maintain approximately equal capitalization for each stock or ETF. The capitalization of a stock or ETF is equal to the total value of the shares outstanding. With the equal capitalization constraint in effect, the value of each stock would be weighted by its capitalization so that more money would be allocated to bigger companies, as is done in large index ETFs such as SPY, SPY, and QQQ.